Good morning, dear children. Welcome back to the physics class. In the previous session, we had discussed about effects of force and we had given you an assignment. Hope you have done your assignment, children. Now let us move on to the other unit. Whenever the bodies interact each other, one of them applies force onto the other. How do the bodies interact? Interaction of the body is basically of two types. One is in which the body is in contact with each other and the other which is not in contact with each other. The body which is in contact with each other, the forces that results is called as contact forces. The forces that results in the bodies are not in contact with each other are called as non-contact force. It's easy to understand the contact forces, but it's a wonder to know how the forces acts on the objects which are not in contact. Now let us study about contact force. Suppose if you are thirsty and there is a glass full of water lying on the table, in order to drink water from this glass, you have to lift the glass to your mouth. That is, you have to apply the force on the glass. How are you touching the glass? By the force. Here, your hand is in contact with glass. It is a contact force. The player wants to kick the football to his teammate. The player will apply the force by kicking the ball. His foot is in contact with the ball. This force is a contact force. Pushing and pulling the table is also an example for contact force. Pressing the keys on the keyboard, moving the chess pieces which is in contact with the object are all examples for contact force. Even when we eat the food moves to the digestive system through alimentary canal. The body expands and contracts. These are all examples for contact force. Forces generated due to our body being in contact with the objects is called muscular forces. Even animals also apply muscular forces. How is it? The bullock cart carries the heavy load using its muscular forces. So, muscles in our body expand and contract, and forces generated due to our body being in contact with the objects is called as muscular forces, which is an example for contact forces. Is there any other force than muscular force? Yes, it's a force of friction. Try rolling the ball on a playground. What do you notice? The ball gradually slows down after some times and eventually comes to halt. Why did it stop? Why it did not move? The reason for its slowing down and stopping is the force that the surface applies on the ball when it's moving, and the direction of this force is opposite to the direction of the motion. This force is called force of friction. Friction plays an important role in our daily life. We can run and walk because of friction. Hence, we came to know that a moving ball stopped by itself due to frictional force. Now, how friction helps to walk and run? When we walk, we push the ground with the foot in the backward direction. The force exerted by the ground is the force of friction. This force is exerted by the solid surface. Both moving in a calm lake, The person has to continuously row to move the boat. If he stops rowing, will the boat move? No. Just like the rolling ball stopped the frictional force, the boat stops because of the force of friction between the water surface and boat which is in contact with each other. The boat and the water is in contact with each other. Can we say this frictional force is a contact force? Yes, frictional force is a contact force. A moving ball stops by itself. The run and walk of a person and the rowing boat slows down or stops due to frictional force. Is contact between the object necessary for the force to act between them? Not necessarily be. Even without the contact, there is a force acting on the objects. Let us explore that force now. Take a magnet, bar magnet. Magnet is nothing but which attracts the magnetic materials. It is an artificial magnet. Bring this magnet towards the nail. Slowly, when magnet is moved towards the nail without coming to its contact, it attracts. It bends towards the bar magnet. Magnet did not touch the nail, but it attracted the nail without contact. Isn't it wonderful? What is that force which attracted the nail? That is magnetic force which was not in contact with the iron nail. So this is an example for non-contact force. Here contact is not necessary. Without contact, the nail got attracted to the magnet. In the same way, the magnet gets attracted to the cupboard or the cupboard gets attracted to the magnet with a non-contact force called as magnetic force. Hence, the magnet attracted by the cupboard or the cupboard which is attracted by the magnet are non-contact forces. When we release a ball from a height on the ground, it just falls on the ground. Why does it fall towards the earth? Because some force is exerted by the earth towards the opposite direction. The earth always pulls the objects towards it. This force is called gravitational force, which is always attractive in nature. Every object in the universe attract each other with this gravitational force. The same way water flowing from the tap flows towards ground because of the gravitational force exerted by the earth on water. All these are examples for non-contact force. Even the river always flows from higher potential to the lower potential due to earth's gravity. Hence, we can conclude that gravitational force is an example for non-contact forces. It is clear that there is no contact between the earth and the object. Now let us see another example. Two balloons are taken. One of them is tied with a thread and suspended. The other one is tied with the thread is held in the hand. Both the balloons do not have any force. Rub the balloon which is held in the hand with a woolen cloth. Bring the balloon towards the suspended balloon. Just see, both the balloons are attracted towards each other. There is force of attraction between them. Why is it so? Is there any force between them? Then what is that force of attraction called as? Let us see the reason. When the balloon was rubbed with the woolen cloth, the balloon has acquired charged particles. So the red balloon is charged and this charges are called as electrostatic charges. The other balloon is uncharged balloon. So when charged balloon was moved towards the uncharged balloon, there was force of attraction between them. There is electrostatic force of attraction between the charged and uncharged balloon. Now let us rub the woolen balloon which is suspended. The balloon is rubbed with the woolen cloth which was suspended. Now both the balloons are charged. When both the balloons are brought together, they repelled each other. Now there is force of repulsion. Repulsion is moving away from each other. So there is force of repulsion between the two charged balloons, and there is force of attraction between charged and uncharged balloon. This force of attraction or force of repulsion is called as electrostatic force of attraction or electrostatic force of repulsion. The forces exerted by the charged body on another charged or uncharged body is called as electrostatic force, which is an example for non-contact forces. From these examples, we can conclude that the gravitational force, the electrostatic force are examples for non-contact forces. In daily routine, you might have observed when you comb the hair with a comb and keep the comb in the pieces of papers, the pieces of papers attract each other. Why is it so? It is due to electrostatic force of attraction between the charged comb with the uncharged paper pieces. So this is electrostatic force of attraction, which is a non-contact force. Now let us recollect the points. Contact forces are muscular force, frictional force, and non-contact forces are magnetic force, gravitational force, and electrostatic force of attraction and repulsion. We'll come back to the next session. Thank you. Take care, children.